Text 51551. The Ray Darcy Show on RTE Radio 1.
Now, a lot of us got used to appearing on screen for Zoom meetings during the pandemic. Well, the next tech innovation could be full-length holograms at your meetings. Yes, like it or not, your hologram could be teleporting into your morning Zoom. They're calling it holoportation. And the man behind it is David Nussbaum. He's CEO of Proto, and he's on the line now from the far side of America. How are you doing, David?
Hey, Ray. Thanks for having me.
Good to talk to you. We saw this mentioned in the newspaper yesterday, and it grabbed my attention. So it's a box. Tell us about it.
It is the world's first single passenger holoportation machine. So Ray, once you're through with your broadcasting career, instead of broadcasting your voice, I could beam your entire body from wherever you are to wherever you want to be. And I can, it's the future of broadcasting.
And it's real time, is it?
It sure is. Yeah. So for me, it's just an extension of, it's like where Zoom ends and where physically being there begins. It looks like you're there, but it's still a virtual experience.
Wow. And I was reading some of your comments yesterday, and you were saying that we get an awful lot from the 3D hologram that we wouldn't get from a 2D iteration of ourselves.
Oh, yes, it's true. Because, when a person is physically there, the body has this emotional and sometimes even a chemical reaction to this kind of a relationship. So much more engaging and real and physical than if you were to zoom in somewhere and you were just neck up on a 2D flat screen. So full body, full volumetric, 3-dimensional, and it looks like you're really there. So okay. It's like a real conversation.
Okay, so it's I saw the cost of it. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. So what do you get for your thousands and thousands of dollars? So at my side, I'll have the camera setup and the box setup.
Well, it depends on, we have a large unit and we have a small unit. So we have a full size. So if you're 6 feet tall, you appear 6 feet tall. And then we have a small little Wonka Vision sized 2 foot tall device. So that is really one of the newest devices that we have. And that's what a lot of enterprise and commercial and retail customers are buying up right now.
So there was a mention of world leaders. So what you would have, I would imagine, what are all these boxes? No. So how would it work? Would there be loads of boxes around a table and one person who was hosting it be there, and then, who I'm just names off the top of my head, there would be Rishi Sunak there, and then there'd be Joe Biden there, and Micheál Martin and other, and they'd all be as holograms in these boxes. Is that the way it would work?
Well, sure. That is one scenario. I envision it as, two world leaders are in their own offices and they're beaming into each other.
Yes, that right. So it's one-on-one. Yes, yeah.
I mean, one-on-one in that sense, but the way it's being used mostly right now are for CEOs and entertainers and educators beaming in to do keynote speeches and to do presentations. It's also being used by art houses like Christie's to beam their artwork around the world instead of sending it on very expensive flights around the world.
And what's your story, David? What's your background?
Well, I'm a wannabe broadcaster.
Right.
I wanted to be you, man. I wanted to be on the radio.
Right. Okay. Well, you took the right route. You took the right route.
I don't know. I love what you're doing. I grew up listening to the Howard Stern show here in America. Right. And, for me, it's. I ran a division of a hologram entertainment company about a decade ago. Right. And I thought if I can combine, bringing back dead musicians, that's sort of what holograms were. Everybody was like, oh, that's what a hologram is, bringing back a dead musician. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if instead of bringing back the dead, if we could actually beam the living, sort of like what us broadcasters do.
Yes.
So I combined my two things and I made this.
Wow. When did you do your first live sort of prototype thing? How many years ago, months ago?
Right. So I've been in the hologram beaming space for about 10 years, but with Proto, the first thing that we did was about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It was incredible. The audience was gasping. It was like they were being visited by a person who physically couldn't be there.
Yeah.
And I have to mention that it's not just me. I'm surrounded by amazing engineers and developers.
But it does sort of open up opportunities, say for a little country like us, and we do chat shows. And during the pandemic, a lot of the interviews were done via Zoom or Team or whatever. But now with your technology, you could have them as a 3D hologram there in front of you.
It's already happening here in America.
Right.
Yeah, Ellen DeGeneres.
Yes.
She used to have a talk show, and she used it to beam into a store so she could interact with her fans. America's Got Talent. The final 11 finalists were all visited by their loved ones from around the world, from Spain and from Korea. They all beamed in.
Wow.
Yes.
This is the future. Well, it's the present, obviously, but it's the thing of sci-fi movies, isn't it? And that's the way a lot of things happen. Apart from the skateboard from Back to the Future, that's never quite happened, really.
Well, Back to the Future was one of the inspirations. I loved watching movies and television, and like a lot of people, I was inspired by what we saw on TV, the Jetsons and Back to the Future and Star Wars. They promised us holoportation. So it was just a matter of time before somebody did it, and Proto's doing it.
You don't have to stand, do you? I'm just, can you do it sitting down?
Sure. Yeah, we've seen people sitting down all the time.
Fine. Okay. No, just because standing up and delivering an interview.
No, you sit in a chair.
I suppose the next thing is that you will be able to position them anywhere. Like, you'll be able to position them outside the box, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah. We like to think inside the box here at Proto. But yes, eventually, as we continue to evolve and as technology continues to push forward, different form factors, maybe one day we will have that Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi, no box, just straight hologram. Yeah. But right now, this is what we've got, and it's pretty great.
Yeah. David Nussbaum, CEO of Proto, thanks so much for joining us. And listen, you can do a podcast, David, if you want to scratch that broadcasting itch.
I did. I had one for 5 years. It was amazing.
There you go.
Hey, listen, Ray, next time we do this, I'm beaming in.
Okay.
None of the phone calls.
Okay. Sure. See you, David. Right. Good
Take
luck.
care.
Bye.
Beam you.
The Ray Darcy Show on RTE Radio 1.